This is KGW News at 5.
Hello, I'm Tim Gordon, and we're going to start by taking a look outside as we track the weekend rain. And we've had plenty of it, despite a break for the Portland area this afternoon. Joe Ranieri's in the Weather Center, and Joe, we are not done with it yet, are we?
Timothy, we are in for another round of not only rain, but a lot of wind, too. Now, that arrives late tonight and into tomorrow, really more specifically throughout the early morning hours on Sunday. So let's get right to it. As we look at the radar right now, we're going to be starting to see some of those areas of green, those showers increase here the next couple of hours. Very lighter amounts compared to what we have been seeing, even although we've seen about 0.8 of an inch of rain here since midnight throughout the Portland metropolitan area at the Portland International Airport. So 0.8, 0.80 at PDX, just a little bit less than that through parts of wine country, about 1/4 of an inch over in McMinnville and Aurora. Over along the northern Oregon coast, Astoria and Seaside, you saw more than 1/2 of an inch of rain. Well, this next system I'm tracking is going to be bringing some intense amounts of rain. So let's look at the amount of rain we're going to be looking at here over the next couple of days or so. We are showing close to over an inch of rain, potentially by the end of tomorrow throughout parts of the coast and into the metro area tomorrow. Now, this goes into 8:30 on Monday morning. You can see up and down the I-5 corridor, nothing but heavy rain. Again, we've been seeing a lot of snowfall up in the Oregon Cascades. Great news for the resorts, right? Well, that snow turns into rain late tonight and into tomorrow. Right now, we're seeing a temperature of 49 degrees in downtown Portland. Over in the Dalles, a temperature of 47 degrees. And speaking of the mountains, they've seen over 1 foot of snow here in the last 24 hours. Here's a live look outside Timberline Lodge right now. Now, watches and warnings look like this. This green color is a flood watch throughout parts of the valley and the metro area in effect until the middle part of next week. So it kind of gives you an idea of just how wet things will be going. And so some models are showing we could be seeing close to 5 inches of rain over the next few days. That'll be a month amount, or I should say 5-day amounts. Monthly amounts for rainfall for the month of December, Tim, is close to 6 inches. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Wow, a lot of precip. All right, Joe, thanks a lot. And now to the latest on the heavy rain and preparations for possible flooding overnight. Ashley Grams joins us live in West Lynn with the latest. Ashley.
Tim, it was a fairly dry day until just a few minutes ago, starting to see some rain here again in West Lynn. That's one of the reasons that Portland and Clackamas County have opened these sandbag locations. Most of them have bags for you to use, have a shovel. Not all of them, though, so if you are planning to come out to one of these locations, I would say pack what you can. Of course, very important to be prepared early when we could possibly see localized flooding. Now, there are 4 places around Portland you can get sand, and there are many other places across Clackamas County. So this is very important for people who are near creeks and streams. The National Weather Service says that low-lying areas could see flooding here in the next few days. This could also impact roadways. Of course, there are some specific places that we're watching. That's going to be the Wilson River, the Johnson River, and the Pudding River. While the National Weather Service says it's unlikely we're going to see major flooding in these areas, we could see these rivers reach their limit here in the next few days. Of course, there is a list of sandbag locations at KGW.com. Tim?
All right, Ashley, thanks a lot. And now to a traffic alert where we are tracking a road closure caused by flooding. Northeast Halsey eastbound is closed under the Cesar Chavez Boulevard overpass. PBOT is telling drivers to use an alternate route. They say there's no storm drain there to drain the water. And just a reminder, go to tripcheck.com to see the current conditions on the roads and whether a road is closed on your route. And we're also following power outages in the area. Here's a look at the PGE website. Earlier this morning, thousands of people were without power overnight. But as you can see, only a few dozen remain in the dark in the Portland metro area at this hour. Well, stick with KGW News and KGW.com throughout the weekend. We'll have your latest forecast, and our crews will be out and about, all out there checking and letting you know if there's any more damage or danger in your area. A memorial service was held today to honor a Gresham firefighter who died after a long battle with leukemia. The cancer was brought on by toxins after years of fighting fires. Thomas Schultz joins us now. Thomas, what did family members say Brian Flowers was like?
Yeah, well, Tim, his wife and children say he was a loving father, always ready with a joke or a prank. And he knew how important family was, taking every chance he could to spend time with his.
You are a fighter with a tender, kind heart of gold.
For the past 30 years, Elsie Flowers has built a life with her husband, Brian.
Everything you've ever built, you built with care and detail.
Including his family.
I always wanted to be just like you.
Dad, you are the one person I know I can count on for absolutely anything.
Hours spent helping with homework, traveling to basketball games, and watching early morning cartoons with his kids, while simultaneously spending 15 years fighting fires.
It breaks my heart to know that you can't physically be here for big milestones in my life.
A couple weeks ago, 48-year-old Brian Flowers died after a long battle with leukemia, a disease brought on by years of firefighting.
Being a Gresham firefighter meant the world to Brian.
We love you!
And with Gresham Fire, he added friends and co-workers to his circle.
As I read this out loud to all of our family and friends, I see how you have overbuilt our village.
Overbuilt a village. Hundreds of whom commemorated Flowers Saturday, held a procession in his honor, and offered support to his family.
Our world has just been shaken like an earthquake. But our foundation is strong.
A foundation full of joy Flowers spent a lifetime building. And Flowers' legacy lives on within Gresham Fire. His son Darian joined the department in September. His first call after getting the job was to his dad, Brian. Tim?
Wow, something else. Thanks so much, Thomas. Well, now to an update on a shooting that happened last night in southeast Portland. One man has died after he was shot in the Centennial neighborhood. This happened at about 10:30 last night near southeast 148th Avenue and Taggart Street. Portland police say when they arrived, they found a man shot at the scene. He was taken to the hospital but died from his injuries. No word on any arrests. This is the 69th homicide of 2023. Well, scammers at it again. This time they're targeting Paid Leave Oregon, a program that just started a few months ago. Since the beginning of September, tens of thousands of people have applied for benefits, but some are finding that fraudsters are attempting to open accounts with their information. Alma McCarty breaks down those frustrations and the agency's work to prevent it.
Paid Leave Oregon launched on September 3rd, just days before the birth of Jeff Jenk's daughter.
So my daughter was born 9/16. She was due 9/7, and so we had always planned on taking leave, but I talked to colleagues in Washington and they actually recommended not applying right away, waiting about a month, and so that's what I did.
But on the October day he was going to apply, he received a notice from the Oregon Employment Department.
We received a letter saying that I needed more information for my claim, a claim I hadn't made.
Jeff got in touch with Paid Leave Oregon and staff confirmed he'd been a victim of fraud, someone filing in his name.
So they filed the fraud case, they gave me a fraud confirmation number and told me someone would be in touch with next steps on how I could then file and how they could close the case.
But he says that investigation's still underway, and after numerous phone calls with lengthy wait times and daily emails, answers remain unclear.
And I've not even had the right to file yet because I'm waiting on the fraud case to close.
In a state of limbo, he's concerned about whether he'll ever get his paid leave benefits.
I can't imagine how many people are actually in the same boat.
The director of Paid Leave Oregon said in a press briefing mid-November that many Oregonians have received letters for paid leave claims they didn't file, although she could not share the exact number.
Just like any benefits program, unfortunately, people try to commit fraud against the Paid Leave Oregon program. This includes people who are using stolen identities to file fraudulent claims.
She explained there's been no data breach at the Employment Department or within the paid leave program, but they're actively working to prevent fraud and identify theft claims.
The system is correctly flagging those and sending the person a letter to verify their identity.
In a follow-up email this week, a spokesperson said, quote, "It can take time to unravel the real person from the imposter, but we will do all we can to make sure benefits are available to people when they are needed." Jeff hopes they'll follow through on this commitment in time for him and for his family.
But I'd like to be able to recognize and use some of that leave. My wife was planning on ending her leave around the new year because she was combining it with PTO, and so my hope was to have leave by then so I could take some time off with my child.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. The Employment Department says they don't give out information about how much fraud is happening because it puts their ability to fight the fraud at risk. They also shared advice on how to protect yourself and on how people can speed up their claim. That's up now at KGW.com.